When we go there, he told us, you have to go in an ATV because it's a very big farm. We all took an ATV, went on top of a hill, and he shows us 10 sheds there. And I asked him how many birds are there. He says, 1 million birds.
Oh.
There are distributors whom we work with. They have a turnover of 6 crores.
Having learned this kind of newer things, technology-based things, any of things you have been able to come and talk about your customers here. Yeah, this is what we can do here in India.
One of the things which excited me in my earlier life is, what is that you're talking to people? If you're talking the same thing, then it gets monotonous.
Dr. Rajiv, you have traveled to 74 countries and you have worked in 36 countries. What patterns or contrasts in animal agriculture across continents?
Antibiotics have been very cheap all these years because China producing mass, then the cost, because of the economies of scale, the cost comes down dramatically.
What value guides you through to take tougher decisions? It may be in business, it may be in innovation, it may be in your professional life.
To tell you very frankly, I didn't know what is veterinary medicine. If you want to produce chicken at the lowest price, you need to use a growth promoter. And I wanted to be with them, but eventually I came into BBSc.
Okay.
Went on doing MBSc medicine, and I think it was one of my best decisions. This is like, you love a girl and then marry. If you don't love a girl and marry, eventually you'll have to love your wife. So we started loving, the veterinary medicine.
So veterinary medicine is like your wife now.
More than a wife. When you take an antibiotic, predominantly these antibiotics do not differentiate whether they are killing a harmful organism or a useful organism. There are learnings in both the places. It's not that we are unable to teach anything to people who have very big industries. Definitely we'll be able to. At the same time, there's a lot for the other side who are struggling to survive.
Welcome to The Grandmaster, a podcast by Chemlife Innovations, where we explore visionaries who have reshaped industries and inspired communities. Today's guest is someone I have had the privilege of knowing for over 3 decades, both professionally and socially. Dr. Rajeevalochan Dinamani, fondly known as Rajiv, is the founder and executive director of Quadrogen Vet Health, a veterinarian by training, a global business builder by experience, and a lifelong learner by spirit. Rajiv has traveled to more than 74 countries, worked in 36, and is recognized worldwide as a specialist in Halquinol, a non-antibiotic growth promoter. Beyond science and business, he is a photographer, music lover, and reader who thrives on perspectives and learning. Today, we will journey through his story, insights, and vision for the future of animal health. Welcome, Doctor. Happy to receive you here as guest of today's episode of The Grandmaster. Let us go through your life, your experiences.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for inviting me to this amazing program. Actually, first of its kind, I'm doing a podcast, so people can judge it, but whatever comes out of me, I will tell, because there's nothing which is prepared here.
I think all the things will come out of your experience. So let's go through that, Rajiv. Yeah. So Raju, having known you for 30 years, and I have also seen how your journey has evolved over these many years, what early experiences shaped your decision to dedicate your life to veterinary medicine and animal health? If you can share your thoughts.
To tell you very frankly, I didn't know what is veterinary medicine. My brother wanted to join veterinary science. He didn't get a seat in veterinary. I had already joined engineering in Hassan Veterinary College. But fortunately, I got a seat in veterinary medicine. And at that time, he was doing his engineering, and he said, no, there is no way you can do anything else. You have to do BBSc. All my classmates were in Hassan. They were doing engineering. And I wanted to be with them, but eventually I came into BBSc, went on doing MBSc medicine, and I think it was one of my best decisions. This is like, you love a girl and then marry. If you don't love a girl and marry, eventually you'll have to love your wife. So we started loving, the veterinary medicine.
So veterinary medicine is like your wife now?
More than a wife now.
Great, great. And coming to what you are doing right now, Quadrogen Vet Health, it's a pioneering name today globally. And what was the spark that led to you and your fellow founders to start this organization?
What happens is, I personally feel, because whatever I speak will be out of my own experience, not from any books or whatever. When I was working in a previous company, it was not somebody else's company, it was our company.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel an entrepreneur is one guy who can feel any place he works as his own, otherwise he will not be successful. So at that time, it was my own organization. I used to fight with my bosses the way they were doing business, and they used to get startled, why this guy is talking like this. But we owned that organization.
There's a feeling.
There's a feeling. There's a feeling. One day, my wife told me that, it looks like you don't have any interest in going to your office.
That's an observation from a third party.
Yeah, third party. Because when you are inside a well, you will not know where you are. So what happened? I used to drive 26 kilometers to office, and I was thinking, if someone has observed that I don't have interest to work in any company, in that company, then there is something wrong in me. Okay. There may not be something wrong in the organization. So why should I trouble somebody in that company? And that is what made me think that this is the time I should leave.
Okay.
And I was not thinking that we should start a company at that time. But I have been an entrepreneur since I was in high school.
Okay.
We used to buy crackers and sell. We used to sell love letters when I was in college.
Okay. So you were behind money, all through?
No, I was behind excitement. So then we decided. I also had a job as a CEO in a company in Bombay.
Okay.
Then I was discussing with my wife. She said that all these days you want to do something on your own. Why do you want to go to Bombay and we will be in Bangalore? It doesn't make any sense. Then we decided that we should start something on our own. But nobody believed that concept at that time.
Okay.
But few people who are with us today, they supported the concept. And they said that, yeah, this is something which will look nice and we are willing to join.
Okay.
And it is a bottomless pit at that time, because once you jump in, you never know where you go. So people who were really adventurous joined us, and all those people have been the partners in the company now.
Okay.
So that was one of the triggering point where you need an inflection point where, you should feel that there is something which you should do on your own. In a company, when you are working, if you start feeling it is not your own, then you should start building something on your own.
So what I understand is that you have made sure that who are all with you now are also feeling that it is their own company now.
I do not know.
Must be. I think that's the environment you have created.
That's what I feel is, I will not be able to tell you on somebody else's behalf. All that I feel is, if they are stuck to us as of now,
that means things are working.
They should be feeling happy.
Yes.
And one of the things that we do as a policy in this company, especially me, when there is an induction program, if somebody comes and joins us, I will tell them, any point of time, if you feel that you are not happy in the company, please leave, because he is not only creating a problem for himself, but he is also creating a problem for the organization.
Yeah. That's right, Dr. Rajiv, you have traveled to 74 countries, and I think 1 or 2 times I was also with you. I remember that. And you have worked in 36 countries. What patterns or contrasts in animal agriculture across continents you have been exposed to or influenced? Many people in India won't be knowing that kind of a perspective.
It's a very interesting question. Actually, once you are doing it on a daily basis, you will not be able to see the difference what is happening, because it becomes a routine for you. 1998 itself, when nobody else was doing exports, I was exposed to the export department. I was the first person to travel outside, to many countries in the previous company as well. What I have observed in the industry is, in different countries, there are different phases of development in animal agriculture. At that time, India was still primitive, means we were starting with integration. If we take poultry as a scenario, though we were the largest in cattle, but what happens is, even today, our productivity per animal is much, much lower compared to other countries. Over a period of time, you see in different countries what happens: developing, underdeveloped, in the process of development, developed, ultra developed.
Okay.
there is an advantage and also a disadvantage when you go for further development in animal industry. Slowly what happens is the small farmers vanish, and you will see the whole industry coming into the hands of few people. With that, what is happening is
that's integration.
Whatever we want to call it as. If you want to integrate, you want to call it integration, you want to call it many companies taking over other companies, one becoming bigger, there is a bigger umbrella. For a company like us, as a perspective of Quadrogen or any company which is small like us, you are talking to an industry leader at that point of time.
Okay.
And an industry leader has a lot to negotiate with you. However good your concept is, he will eventually negotiate in the power of his volumes and his size. Whereas the developing countries, what is happening is you have a concept, you have a philosophy, you have an idea to take it into the market.
Correct.
That can easily be translated because you have an audience. In Africa, if you go, there are farmers who have 100 birds. There are 200 birds, 1,000 birds, 10,000 birds.
As less as that.
As less as 50 birds I have seen. And then I go to Brazil, there's a 10,000 hectare farm. And then when we ask them to take us to their,
Quite contrasting.
Yeah, very contrasting. When we go there, he told us, you have to go in an ATV because it's a very big farm. We all took an ATV, went on top of a hill, and he shows us 10 sheds there. And I asked him how many birds are there. He says, 1 million birds. 1 million birds, 10 sheds, 100,000 birds in each shed. How many people working? 10 people working in the shed. This guy has a hammock. He sleeps in the hammock. Morning he goes and picks up the dead birds. And evening he goes and picks up the dead birds. That's all his job. Everything is automated. You go to his office, it's like an air traffic control.
So productivity of the highest order.
Air traffic control. Then all the birds, when they are walking, there are sensors. The body weight is taken automatically. At any given point of time, you want to see the FCR, it is available for the owner to evaluate.
Very interesting.
So these two are totally contrasting. And for us, it is very exciting. And many people even today would not know that these kind of things happen. But many big companies in India are also getting into that particular mode. Some of the very big companies are doing it. But it is not easy for them. Whether it is easy for them or not, it is not going to be easy for us to deal with those guys.
That's right.
So I would see that eventually over the next 15, 20 years, the whole world will be in that scenario.
I think it will happen.
It is very obvious. But that is not exciting. It becomes very mechanical.
So having learned this kind of newer things, technology-based things, any of things you have been able to come and talk about to your customers here, this is what we can do here in India?
Predominantly, my job is international and I have worked very less in domestic market. We have our own people who work in the domestic business. But wherever we go, our objective is where to fill the gap. Because the only thing that we have is our own experience across different countries. What is available somewhere is not available in another place.
That's right.
And we can guide them that this is where you can increase your efficiency. At the end of the day, poultry business or animal industry is with minimum inputs, you have to get the maximum out of it.
It's part of the food chain.
It's part of the food chain. So you have to produce something which is at the lowest price. Two things happening. One is the business is getting very big. What is happening to the animal, nobody is bothered about.
That's a pity at the same time.
If you think deep, sometimes you think that whether things are going in the right direction or whether it is going in the wrong direction. So there are learnings in both the places. It's not that we are unable to teach anything to people who have very big industries. Definitely we'll be able to. At the same time, there's a lot for the other side who are struggling to survive and make money. Definitely with the ideas and thoughts that you have learned through, you can help them to make more money.
I mean, you would be seeing a lot of opportunities both the sides, right?
Absolutely.
For them, also for us.
There are a lot of people who come to us and ask us, how do we take our business internationally? So we can help them, because many people do not know how to do it. And many people have, done that also now.
In fact, we need to come and sit with you on this.
Anytime.
You are also known as a doctor, global specialist in Halquinol. You may also have to tell our audience what is Halquinol. Could you share why Halquinol, this product, has been such a game changer in non-antibiotic growth promotion sector?
One of the things which excited me in my earlier life is, what is that you're talking to people? What is the difference that you carry to the market? If you're talking the same thing, then it gets monotonous. The only differentiating factor between somebody who is successful and somebody who is not successful, I don't want to say not successful, who is not so successful, is what uniqueness you bring to your platform or to the customer.
Correct.
So, in marketing terms, they say creating value, but I would classify it as how unique you are, whether it is in the concept or the proposition or the benefit that you give it to the farmer. With Halquinol, I saw that there is a lot for you to teach the end user.
Okay.
Antibiotics have been very cheap all these years because China producing mass, then the cost, because of the economies of scale, the cost comes down dramatically. But what is happening is, it's just like single-use plastic, the way it has destroyed, India or many countries across the globe. It is destroying the whole human food chain. And we have been very selfish. We are talking about only human food chain. They are also destroying animals as well. When you take an antibiotic, predominantly these antibiotics do not differentiate whether they are killing a harmful organism or a useful organism. All that I am concerned is how I am going to produce a chicken or an animal at the lowest cost. For that, you have to keep your intestines very clean. We don't take antibiotics every day as human beings because we are very selective when we eat.
That's right.
And animals are indiscriminate eaters. They pick whatever is available. So there are some ubiquitous organisms like E. coli, Salmonella, which are present everywhere. So if the animals are, the immunity levels of these animals are low, the definite possibility is they will go and attack these intestines.
Okay.
So if the intestinal health is not good,
compromised,
it is compromised, whatever may be the reason, then you are not going to get the output that you desire. For your benefit, you are adding antibiotics to the animal. The animals never ask for antibiotics.
Correct.
So when you put those antibiotics, these antibiotics are killing the normal microflora and also the harmful microflora. If you use any antibiotic which will only stay in the intestine and gets out of the intestine, because most of the times the meat is consumed, not the intestine, then you have lesser problems. But many of these antibiotics are absorbed into the body system. When I say body system, it is absorbed into the bloodstream and it circulates all over the body.
Finally reaches muscles also.
Finally reaches muscles, finally reaches, many parts of the body. And the same meat is consumed by human beings. Let me give an example. Imagine I am feeding amoxicillin to a bird. Amoxicillin is absorbed into the system. It stays in the meat of the animal. I have been exposed to some respiratory problem. The doctor prescribes amoxicillin and I have been eating this amoxicillin-fed chicken over a period of 2 months. The bacteria inside me are resistant to those amoxicillin.
So that is what antimicrobial resistance is all
exactly, that is what it is. So, and antibiotics are not invented, every day. I think the antibiotics that we have been using, at least 15-20 years old, at least I would say.
There is no new antibiotic coming in.
Antibiotic that is coming out. So, it is very important for us to protect these animals and being selfish, our own selves, from these antibiotic problems. In this scenario, one of the products that emerged out of this, of the crowd is Halquinol. Halquinol is classified as a non-antibiotic growth promoter and it is a chemical product. The advantage of this is one of the very few products in the world which works against bacteria, protozoa and also fungus.
And selectively.
That means it will only affect the harmful bacteria. It will not affect the beneficial bacteria. It would be very scientific if I go deep. What happens is there is something which is harmful bacteria which grow between the pH of 6 to 8.
Okay.
There are some beneficial bacteria which thrive in acidic environment. So these products target the pH between 6 to 8 or 6 to 9.
Okay.
So they are selectively killing these organisms.
Okay, it's a designer molecule then.
You can consider that. So what's happening with this is the product goes into the intestine, stays in the intestine, acts locally in the intestine, does its job and gets out of the intestines without much noise.
So residue is zero.
There is no residue with this particular product. And these products are called as gut-acting products.
Okay.
There are some gut-acting antibiotics as well, just like colistin sulfate. Colistin sulfate was considered not to be, developing resistance with bacteria. But few years ago, I think just after COVID, in China, there was an article that the bacteria have also developed resistance to colistin sulfate.
Okay.
So colistin sulfate has been banned across the globe for animal usage now.
So taking cue from here, Halquinol, colistin, we can't use it. But what else would happen in future? What new innovation is going to happen? Considering this antimicrobial resistance issues.
Bacteria do not, they don't know whether they are exposed to Halquinol or antibiotics. They are sensitive to few things. It's just like a kid, learning karate. First day he wants to break the brick, he will break his hand. If he practices over a period of 4 to 5 years, he will be able to break the brick.
Correct.
So the hand is like a bacteria. If you are sensitizing anything for that matter over a very long period of time, the possibility is the bacteria might develop resistance.
Correct.
But Halquinol as a product has been in use for more than 40 years and there is very little documentation of resistance. That is what is exciting. That is what is really exciting for us. And we as a company produce one of the finest product in the world. We are the only company who produce 99.
I think largest producer.
Right? We are the largest producer. We have a facility which produces only one product. That means there is no possibility of contamination. And the product is 99.9% pure.
Okay.
And we have been able to produce that consistently. That also creates challenges because there are many companies who would come with a cheaper product, lesser quality.
Companies.
That's always there.
So, Doctor, moving further, you have worn hats in sales, marketing, technical services. How has this multidisciplinary approach has shaped your leadership style? It's a bouncer, is it?
No. What happens is leadership or leader is a terminology which I may like, I may not like. But how do you classify a leader? If you see the dictionary, environment or the answer, there is no leader unless there is a follower.
Yeah.
Correct? Only if you have followers, you become a leader.
That's right.
I don't believe in that philosophy.
Yeah, you may not believe, but you must be having followers.
No, I don't know. But what happens is, the way I think is, a leader is someone who has to do few things because what he is. Because people are not fools. You can do a lot of things like an actor, but eventually what he is matters. And what comes out of him should be because of what he is. If you evaluate the other way around, I don't think it is correct, because if you do good things, you will be a good man. I don't believe in that.
Okay.
If you are a good man, then only good things come out of you.
So how do you have this kind of thoughts?
I have seen.
How do you use it in daily life?
What I believe is, as a leadership, you should be able to build more leaders rather than having followers. You might be having followers, it doesn't matter at all. Anybody should be classified as a leader only if he can demonstrate his leadership. People get inspired by that and find their own way to become leaders. Because the moment you follow, you will never be a leader.
Yeah, fantastic. I think this is all about second line leadership development.
Whether it is a second line or whatever it is, eventually you need to build leaders in an organization. Okay. And if the leader is not unique, he will always be a follower. So my feeling is, if we do not give freedom to our people working in our own organization and motivate their strengths wherever they are, everybody is not strong in every sector, because of their inherent nature. Wherever they are strong, if we help them grow in that, then their uniqueness come out of it.
I'll take another question of a different shade but connected. What value guides you through to take tougher decisions? It may be in business, it may be in innovation, it may be in your professional life.
This is going more philosophical, but I will tell you a few things what I believe. My own feeling, when we started a company, I am the youngest among the 3 major partners in our company. They are much more experienced than me. But I wanted to say a few things when we started a company. In that private discussion, I told them that whether we like it or not, I want to state it. When we go to the office, I request everybody to put their ego in the locker in the house and come to office. Because
if it is there.
It will be there with everyone.
Okay.
It will be there with everyone. Otherwise, we'll become saints. If we do not put that ego in the locker, then you are not fighting for the cause. You are fighting for your own idea.
Yeah.
So we decided, whether it is a doorman or a chairman, it doesn't matter at all. Whoever gives a good idea in the organization will be followed irrespective of whatever the cadre the person is working.
Okay. So no class.
So we don't have any bosses in the company. Anybody can walk into our chambers at any given point of time, confront us. They have the liberty to confront any decision that we take. That is how we have built the organization. The second thing that I told is, this is not concerning with other people. I don't know how they feel about it. But I wanted to mention is, I will never fight on money in this company. So if we get if there is an opportunity, that if there's a situation where the fight comes on money, I'm the first person to walk out. Whatever is the situation, whether I take money or not. And fortunately, we have followed all these things.
This is how many years now? 15?
16 years now.
16 years.
To tell you very frankly, I don't know how much money I have. I don't know what salary I get.
That means you are not following money.
That is what I was about to tell you. If you follow money, you can make money, but you cannot build a good business. If you follow what you want to do, I feel money will follow.
So I'll come to that. Apart from business, what you love to do, I know photography, I know music is one of your passion. You are also a good reader. So how these passions influence your professional creativity and resilience? I have seen some of your photographs, very nice. The 2 wild photographs.
Thanks. I feel, this is my own, again, personal feeling. Whatever I say is only from my experience. We miss out a lot of beautiful things in life because we are always thinking constantly. The moment we stop thinking, the beauty comes out. This is my own observation. Whenever I am in the wild, whenever I am with nature, whenever I am with people who do not speak out of their ego, who wants to show that, they have a lot of things, then there is a lot for us to learn.
Yes.
Every walk of life, nature teaches a lot. If you allow me, I wanted to be a wildlife veterinarian in somewhere in Africa. It never happened. There was a passion that I should become a businessman or so. I don't know. But eventually I became a businessman. As long as I'm in the wild, I'm lost.
Oh, disconnected totally.
And I feel the best feeling you will have is when you're lost. If there's a beautiful sunset, you look at it and you say, wow, that moment you're not there.
Yeah.
And I feel, if we can create that kind of a moment in business, which is almost practically impossible, then it is not good. But that is not possible in business, because at the back of your mind, you're constantly thinking how you have to make money.
Correct.
The only way to do that is, I have understood with all these habits that I have, reading books or music or whatever it is, if you want to do the best, all that opportunity we have is at that particular moment in that office, or even here now, we have to do the best, whatever that is possible that we can.
Yeah, whatever given opportunity, whatever given facility available,
that's all.
We have to do the best.
You cannot do anything beyond that. You have 24 hours, I have 24 hours, Ambani's have 24 hours, Bill Gates has 24 hours, everyone has 24 hours.
Even Trump has got 24 hours.
Everyone has 24 hours. But all that we can do is whatever the best that we can do at that particular point of time, without any prejudice, without any bias.
That's right.
And that is one thing which I feel, which has helped us build a good organization.
I think great learning, Rajiv. You often emphasize learning from different perspectives. That's what you just now mentioned also. Can you share a moment when listening deeply to someone changed your thought process or your outlook?
I was a debater when I was in school. I was a debater when I was in college. Means I was talking a lot. All that I have learned is from my own experiences. You can also learn from your books, but that will only be like a database, gets into the
reference
data.
point.
Yeah, that's a reference point. My earlier advantage was whenever you go out of the country, you get to meet the biggest bosses of the organization because you're a foreigner. They will listen to you. But I was more interested in listening to them because I was very naive at that particular point in time. My objective was, if this fellow has grown so big, how does he think? I was not interested in business because business, I know how to sell a product.
Correct.
It's not arrogance, but we can sell a product. If you know about your product well, you can sell a product.
That's right.
But many salespeople end their lives there itself. Today is my job. I will go, I will sell the product, finish it off. My objective was, why this guy is sitting here? What is his thought process?
What is going in his mind?
What is going in his mind? So I developed a policy myself when I was working that whenever I take a problem to my boss, I should have minimum 3 answers for the same problem.
That's interesting.
So if the boss chooses one solution out of it, my thinking is in the right direction. If the boss gives a different idea, you have a learning.
Correct.
So listening to many people, I don't say that one person, my dad, my uncle, I stayed in my uncle's place for more than 15 years. I personally feel everybody should live alone at least 5 to 7 years in the process of growth, because that's the only point of reflection that you will have. If you are in a crowd, you will only follow the mob.
Yes. Looking ahead, doctor, what do you see as the biggest opportunity or challenges in the animal health sector, both globally as well as domestic?
This is an amazing industry. The reason why I would say is many people are going into non-vegetarianism, even in countries like India.
Yeah.
And food is the basic thing.
Yeah. Protein.
Animal industry can never go down. FMCG industry can go down. Any other industry can go down. But food is the basis of survival. Agriculture and animal industry will never go down. Means there is tremendous opportunity for somebody who wants to make a career or life out of this particular industry. At the same time, the disadvantage also is in countries like India, there is no regulation on nutrition.
Yeah, that is unfortunate, right?
Very unfortunate. There is regulation for drugs, there is regulation for medicines. Similarly, there has to be regulation on what goes into the animal feed, because nobody knows what is going into animal feed now.
And animal themselves doesn't know anything.
They don't know. They don't know. The means, because there is opportunity, there is a threat. There is a threat. And regulations, it's like a paradox, You bring in more regulation, the industry will not grow.
Yeah.
That's what has happened in Europe. Europe has become very stagnant. Even today, USA, there are few antibiotic growth promoters they are permitted.
Yeah, amazed to hear this.
Yeah, because there's a lobby. If you want to produce chicken at the lowest price, you need to use a growth promoter. The same is happening in Latin America. So there is no common phenomenon anywhere.
Okay.
Each one, India will also follow somebody. They will also follow India. We follow, Western medicine. West is following, Indian medicine, Ayurveda now. So it's a whole cycle. It keeps happening. But whenever there is an opportunity, there is definitely a threat. But for people like us who are in the animal nutrition industry, there is tremendous opportunity. But if you want to make money, you can make money whichever the way you want. But if you want to build an organization, the biggest question is, how will you be unique?
Okay.
What is your uniqueness? Anybody can go and sell any product. You can make money being a distributor.
How do you differentiate yourself?
Differentiating something is where you are dividing things.
Okay.
I would rather not put it. If you are taking a proposition, how unique you, why should he listen to you, first of all? And if he listens to you, the product should be able to perform. If the product is able to perform, then at what cost?
Okay.
Unless you answer all these questions yourself or as an organization, then it becomes very difficult to survive. There are distributors whom we work with. They have a turnover of 6 crores on a monthly basis, where many companies do not have. My own distributor in India, his turnover is more than 6 crore rupees. He is not building an organization. He is interested in his money. That's why I told you that money can be made in this industry. But if you want to grow, build something for the industry, for the benefit of animals, for the future, then you need to be unique. And that we need to decide how you want to be unique.
So this needs quite a big army of professionals, health care professionals, veterinarians. What is the one piece of advice based on your experience you can give to them?
At the end of the day, I would say, do what you are doing the best. Nothing else we can do.
Yes.
All that we are doing, we have to put the best of the efforts to make it best at that point of time.
Don't doubt about anything.
My classmates, we have some philosophical discussions when we meet. Most of them were working in government. It was my choice not to go to the government. They were laughing at me. And they wanted to go to the government because it was a security. The moment you want to be secure, you will not grow.
You can't grow. Yes.
You will not grow. Because you will be within that, inside that jail. Today they are feeling that they cannot do anything even if they want to do something.
At this point of time,
it's impossible.
Yeah.
Because the courage is not there. Business is like a bottomless pit.
Yes.
You're falling. And you never know whether there is something which will hold you.
Yeah.
So somebody asked me this question. You are in a bottomless pit. You're falling down. What is it that you can do? I told them all that you can do is enjoy the fall. If you do not enjoy the fall, if you are not courageous enough
you are
to
not
fall,
fit for business.
You are not into business. If you are afraid of it, if you are scared, you cannot be in business. Whether you are in business or as an employee, if you are working 9 to 5 for money, then I don't have any advice for them. If you want to be adventurous, you want to get into territories which is unknown,
follow Rajiv.
No. Nobody should follow me, but there is tremendous opportunity and excitement. That's what I would say.
Great. Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much for a lively and very nice interactive
Thank you, sir.
Session.
Thanks for inviting me. Thank you very much.
Rajiv, your journey is a testament to curiosity, courage and commitment. From Halquinol to holistic leadership, from global travels to personal passions, you have shown us that science and humanity can work hand in hand. As we close, I am reminded that true grandmasters don't just master their craft, they inspire others to reimagine what is possible. To our listeners, stay tuned for the next episode of The Grandmaster, where we continue to spotlight leaders who are shaping the future with integrity and innovation. And remember, every conversation is a chance to learn and every perspective a doorway to transformation. Thank you.